Jorge Martin has voiced his frustration over what he describes as Enea Bastianini's unsportsmanlike behavior on the track. The incident has sparked controversy, with some MotoGP experts calling Bastianini's actions dirty and reckless. Adding fuel to the debate, Marc Marquez has stepped in, stating that Bastianini deserves to be penalized with a demotion for his dangerous moves. This issue has stirred strong opinions within the racing community. Stay tuned until the end for a full breakdown of the controversy. Jorge Martin expressed his frustration after missing out on victory at the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix, insisting that he deserved to win, and criticizing Enea Bastianini's aggressive final lap overtake. Martin led the majority of the 27-lap race at Misano, fending off pressure from his factory Ducati teammate. However, on the last lap, Bastianini made a bold move up the inside at turn 4, resulting in contact that forced Martin off track. Despite this, Bastianini crossed the finish line first, with Martin trailing 5 seconds behind. Martin's frustration was evident as he crossed the line, but race stewards chose not to investigate the incident. Reflecting on the race, Martin said, "It was a great weekend overall. I was fast and competitive, and today in Misano, I believe I was the strongest. I made significant improvements from last weekend and felt very fast, especially after several laps. But I had to manage the situation with Enea, and honestly, there wasn't enough space for him to make that move." Though Martin was clearly disappointed, he acknowledged that continuing to debate the incident wouldn't change the outcome. "There's no point in dwelling on it. What's done is done, but I do think I deserved the win. If you're going to make a move, at least do it cleanly without making contact." Martin also pointed out the potential precedent set by the race directors. Now, I think it's clearer what the boundaries are for the future. If a similar situation arises, I hope I can make the same kind of move without consequences. Despite the setback, Martin now leads the championship by 24 points, aided by Francesco Bagnaia's crash late in the race. Confident in his form, Martin believes he's in a strong position heading into the final 5 rounds. "I'll focus on the positives. The pace was incredible and I had a strong start. Qualifying was better than the last race, which was a bit of a question mark before. Overall, I'm happy with how I performed." Looking ahead to the next race in Indonesia, Martin feels optimistic. "I like the track a lot and enjoy racing there. I'll focus on my own race and try to block out the noise from the outside. I've got a bit of an advantage now and I'm determined to make it even stronger. If I avoid mistakes, I know I can win this race." Marc Marquez, who was right behind Martin and Enea, shared his thoughts after the race. "I believe Enea deserves a penalty as he went off track and exceeded the limits," Marquez said, pleased with his podium finish. Despite his solid result, he dropped in the standings, now sitting in 4th place, 60 points behind leader Jorge Martin. "I was aiming for 4th, but after several crashes, we managed to secure a spot on the podium, which is a nice reward." Marquez has been in strong form with 2 victories and 3 podiums in a row, yet he feels he's not in a position to challenge Martin or Francesco Bagnaia for the title. This weekend in Indonesia kicks off a stretch of 6 Grands Prix over the next 8 weeks. It's true that anything can happen in Asia, especially with the unpredictable weather. I'd love to say that I have a shot at the title and the pace to back it up, but that's not the reality. When conditions are ideal, there are 2 riders who are faster than me, Marquez, rider number 93, explained. "When you start the weekend by checking the weather forecast, wondering if it'll rain, it shows you're not fully prepared. I'd need something beyond my control, like rain, to change the situation." After the incident, which left both Marc Marquez and Enea Bastianini involved, Bastianini also shared his thoughts. After watching a replay of the key moments from the indoor race, the top 3 riders, including Marquez and Bastianini, gathered on the podium for a celebratory moment. Both acknowledged their involvement, ultimately resolving any lingering issues between them. "I know Jorge wasn't happy, but he really shut the door when I made the move. It was a bit risky, but still a good overtake," Bastianini explained. "Jorge was flawless and it was really tough to pass him. I made an attempt with 3 laps left, but he blocked me. I tried again on the final lap, pushed a little harder and closed the gap. When you're racing on a home turf, you always give it that extra effort. This day has been incredible. From the start, I felt great on the bike and everything just clicked," concluded the number 23 rider. MotoGP stewards have decided not to investigate the incident between Enea Bastianini and Jorge Martin during the final lap of the Emilia-Romagna MotoGP race. Bastianini made a daring overtake on Martin to claim the win, and the two made contact, pushing Martin off the track. Martin, who finished second, was visibly frustrated, gesturing angrily as he crossed the line. Despite speculation that the stewards might review the move, it's now been confirmed that no investigation will take place. The FIAM stewards report from Sunday's race doesn't even mention the controversial moment. While Martin remained composed in Parc Ferme, he clearly expressed his belief that Bastianini had gone too far with his aggressive move. However, Bastianini defended his decision, stating that he had the right to take the risk. Martin left Misano with a 24-point lead in the championship standings, helped by Pecco Bagnaia's crash, which knocked him out of third place. Bastianini, after winning the race, now sits third in the standings, 59 points behind Martin. Interestingly, Martin pointed out afterward that Bastianini is not a contender for the championship title. Experts have concluded that Enea Bastianini's overtaking maneuver against Jorge Martin during the Emilia-Romagna MotoGP was not subject to penalty. In the final lap, Bastianini, riding for the factory Ducati team, made contact with Martin, who was competing for Pramac Racing, forcing Martin off the track and securing the lead. Despite Martin's visible frustration as he crossed the finish line in second place, the incident was regarded as part of hard racing. Simon Crafar, the future MotoGP stewards leader, reflected on the situation and emphasized that while such moments can feel unjust to those on the receiving end, they are an intrinsic part of the sport. He noted the intensity of the competition and how crucial it is not to overly restrict overtaking in slower, safer sections of the track, as that would diminish the excitement of the race. Other commentators like TNT Sports' Neil Hodgson also weighed in, agreeing that while the move was aggressive, it was within the bounds of racing. They pointed out that moves like this have been seen from many top riders throughout MotoGP's history, including legends like Valentino Rossi and Mick Doohan. From Bastianini's perspective, the move was bold, especially with the pressure of potentially winning a Grand Prix on home soil. Michael Laverty echoed this sentiment, acknowledging that while it felt harsh from Martin's standpoint, losing valuable points after leading for most of the race, it was ultimately a racing incident. Laverty argued that a penalty would have only been warranted if Bastianini had completely taken Martin out of the race. In the end, while the move was rough and aggressive, the consensus was that it exemplified the grit and determination required to win at the highest levels of MotoGP. Hey MotoGP fans, don't forget to like and subscribe to stay updated with all the latest action.